Williamson, BBC News, Jerusalem.
Well, joining me live now is Wael Alzayat, CEO of the Muslim American advocacy group Emgage. Very good to see you here on BBC News. So the plan announced by Donald Trump yesterday for US ownership of Gaza has made headlines around the world. How credible do you see this plan as being?
Really to be seen, just like with a lot of things coming out of this administration. I don't think it should be dismissed out of hand, but obviously it's deeply problematic from a legal perspective, an international law perspective, a humanitarian perspective. But at least I think it gives you the thinking of President Trump and perhaps some of his advisors on capitalizing on this horrific episode of the last year and a half. Possibly at the expense of the Palestinians.
If such a plan were to go ahead in any kind of shape or form, of course, it would require cooperation from Arab states. They have rejected it. Jordan, for example, Egypt. We know that the King of Jordan will be meeting with Donald Trump next week. Do you think there will be pressure there from the president?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Jordan relies heavily on U.S. assistance to really run the country and care for its population. It's energy starved and has high unemployment, and the list goes on. And if Donald Trump is putting pressure on allies such as Canada and even some European countries over Greenland, he's definitely going to do it to the Jordanians. But for the Jordanians, I think they will dig in. This is a very, very serious challenge to their survivability as a nation, but also to the rule of the Hashemites in Jordan. They undoubtedly would consider this to be an existential proposal to them.
I wonder if you think we could see any potential action from the international community or the United Nations when you consider today we've had comments from the UN Secretary General saying that forced displacement was tantamount to ethnic cleansing.
Well, I'm a former State Department official and worked on the UN portfolio when I was there. And I saw repeatedly the UN fail to uphold international law and to stop ethnic cleansing. And so I personally don't have any faith in the international community's ability to stop Israel or Donald Trump. So which is why I'm worried. I think anyone that can stop Donald Trump, it's going to have to be his closest advisors. Maybe some members of Congress from the Republican Party. Perhaps he will change his mind. So obviously, and you can tell his closest advisors were caught off guard. Yes, his Secretary of State perhaps appeared to have supported it, but he knows better. He knows that this is a violation of international law, and the American public simply do not want to send troops to Gaza. This is highly dangerous for us as a nation and destabilizing of the region. And the American public particularly understands what property values, what property rights are, and that these are the land of the original inhabitants of the land. And so what's needed here is for this administration to focus on domestic issues, to take care of the economy and actual challenges, and allow the ceasefire to become permanent and not allow for further annexation at a time we're countering Russian annexation of Ukraine.
Well, I'm sure you heard comments today at that press conference where essentially the argument was made from the Trump administration that doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for a different result is insanity. That was the quote there from Caroline Leavitt. Do you think this conflict needs what the Trump administration is calling out-of-box thinking?
Yeah, I guess it's an out-of-box thinking if you consider ending the occupation of the Palestinians to be out-of-the-box thinking, which is what the various UN resolutions have stated, and the majority of the world agrees is needed, including the Arab states, and repeating the same thing that we've tried for 75 years of supporting Israeli occupation of the Palestinians will produce exactly the same results. So what's needed is ending the occupation, creating a Palestinian state, and allowing the Israelis and the Palestinians to live peacefully side by side, finally, in their own sovereign territories.
Wael Alzayat, CEO of the Muslim American advocacy group Emgage, thank you for being with us.